Gary Vaynerchuk, or Gary V, as he's probably better known, was born in what is now Belarus, moved to the US at a very young age, grew up to a large extent in New York, as you can tell from his presentation. He's probably best known now for his VaynerMedia company. He has been an author and a mentor to so many young entrepreneurs. He places great emphasis on people transforming their ideas into action. And whether or not the ideas work, learn from the experience, move it forward. We're going to take a look at a short video clip of him speaking and then a still photo of his face. I'm going to talk about some of the key personality traits and characteristics evident in his facial features. So let me just bring up the share.
Like, do you love the game so much that even at your own expense, there's some sort of joy beyond just learning, some sort of like ideological respect for the whole thing? I respect entrepreneurship so much. I believe in merit so much. The reason I loved sports so much is like, do you love?
Always wonderful when technology works along with us, but sometimes it doesn't. And that's one of the key things he talks about, that if an idea doesn't work, okay, don't get hassled by it. Stop, reflect, move forward. So an example of things not being perfect and not even trying to make it perfect, because that just gets us stuck. So anyway, moving on to Gary V himself. As you can see from the presentation, and you can watch that or any other presentation, any example of him speaking, he's fully engaged. His body language is totally immersed in his communication. His voice is strong. His voice is fast. He speaks. He's passionate. He's driven. It's very evident in how he presents himself. So, and it's consistent. Like I said, any presentation you see, anytime you see him speaking, it's always the same thing. His whole body is fully engaged. It's totally coherent. And that's a lesson for any of us who want to make our communication convincing, that it needs to be coherent. The body, the mind, the voice, the facial expression, all working together. So we're going to take a look at some of his key facial features now. I'm going to refer first to the face shape. His face shape is a combination of two, which is kind of square and slightly triangular. Square is what in the Chinese system is referred to as iron, and the triangular is referred to as fire. But when you have that square shape, it tells you this is a guy with a lot of energy, a lot of energy. He's passionate, he's driven, he's about taking action. The fire shape is then the triangular shape is very much about ideas. So this is a guy who was never short of ideas, but he's got the drive to implement them. He's very much about taking action. So again, this is what he talks about time and time again. Taking your ideas and taking them and putting them into action. If they don't work, stop, learn, reflect, move forward. What's next? How do you make it happen? Not to get stuck and allow yourself to get stopped by something apparently not working, because it's all learning. And if we look at his forehead, we notice there are three horizontal signs in the central forehead area. The lower one is very much in the Chinese system is associated with our relationship with money and the material side of life. So you can see that's very deep. And it tells you that this guy has put a solid foundation of finance, material wealth, material well-being in place. We then have the second line, which is the one associated with personal awareness and deep understanding of self. So again, very much about this guy knows who he is. He's very clear about his identity. And the third line then relates to his relationship with the spiritual side of life. So again, very important to him. And the fact that all three of those lines are deepest in the middle tells you that this is a guy who was focused on his own development. Yes, he may have been influenced by parents, teachers, whatever, but he's a guy who has very much made his own mind up. He's a guy who has his own views on things. We notice here, as we've seen in other features as well, he's got this little dip here in this area around the bridge of the nose that tells you his time is valuable. If you want to meet him, if you want to engage with him, know why, know what the purpose is, know how long you intend to spend with him, and what is the end result of the conversation. We notice he speaks quickly, his mind moves quickly. We notice his eyebrows are thick, so he absorbs a lot of information. But then it's about doing it quickly. It's about putting it into action. It's about doing it, making it move. It's not about taking time and reflecting and analyzing and blah, blah, blah. It's about getting it done. We can see that also in his nose. His nose is nicely shaped. It's well proportioned. It's a large area around the nose tip. So again, drive, passion. And that's so evident in his delivery, but also his face. His eyes are always bright. His eyes are always sparkling. There's always that sense of this guy is really alive. He's fully engaged in what he does. A couple of other particular things here. You notice the upper eyelid fold on both eyes is quite thick. So it tells you he's an ego. And that's simply an observation. It's not a judgment. So if you want his attention, you have to show respect. Logically enough, we should show respect anytime we meet somebody. But if you want to really get him engaged, show him respect. It really is as simple as that. There are so many other aspects to his facial features that could talk for forever and ever. You can see his chin is jutting forward slightly, very determined, can be very stubborn, knows what he wants, and is not easily knocked aside from his goals. One other particular thing which I find interesting is his right eyebrow. The right side of the face relates to the public persona, and his right eyebrow it's a little thin at the beginning. And that tells you he doesn't just jump into things. He likes to get things moving and he likes to take action, but he doesn't just jump into things. He likes to be very clear about what he's doing and why he's doing it and what his intention is. So although he likes taking action, it has a purpose. It has a clarity to it. It's not just ad hoc. It's not just hit and hope. It's why am I doing it? So he wants to be very clear before he starts. A lot to reflect on there, and there's a lot more we could touch on, but a fascinating individual. I look forward to your comments. Hope this has been of interest. And as always, thank you so much for watching.